So we're gonna move on to town hall number three. Well, actually two, because one alpha. So we're gonna move over to two, where Tatum actually had two interviews this week. He dropped both of them in the past 48 hours. So this first one is going to be the first interview with the boys there. Um, and I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't really impressed with this interview, but we'll discuss it once it's over. So let me see here. Pick up the speed a little bit.
Obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life, young guys being in college, having a typical experience, then you lose your friend.
I think like ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole. Like even going out, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse.
You just met these young men more recently. And are you confident that these young men had nothing to do with it? We have Ed Pausick, Warren, Jax, and then we have Morgan here. And so I talked to Warren last time I was here. We had a really deep conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get other perspectives now that we have Ed here. Ed is a defamation attorney. And I want to start with you, Ed. Why did you choose to work with the boys? What is your plans? What do you expect to get out of working with them? What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say Tyler Cox really welcomed me here. My co-counsel, he's an incredible human being and he's an incredible attorney. And then after that, I had an opportunity to meet these incredible young men. And I just got to say, these guys are unbelievable. Warren, Jackson, Morgan, they're just beautiful people. They're really decent human beings. They're just great people. And, that's why I'm here, because I want to help great people. And this is a very sad situation, but it's also a very human situation, and it's a tragedy.
So you guys have, obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life, young guys being in college, having a typical experience, then you lose your friend, Nolan. And after that, what has life been like for you guys?
I think like ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole, like it just stopped. And I mean, we just got to live day by day from now on.
I could say definitely a whole flip upside down for our lives. It's like even going out, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse. We're really just trying to stay low key and not go out as much or anything like that.
It's been hard because my friends and I are people. I mean, we like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, and not being able to like go certain places or walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint, my safety comes first. My friends and family safety come first too. And it's been really hard because I'm worried about like my family as well with me. And it's hard, but we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day.
Can you give me some examples of what has happened? Have you guys had things happen online, threats online? Have you guys have any examples of people accosting you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we have had countless death threats online, been spotted. I'll let you elaborate more on that. Spotted.
I mean, people have obviously just pointed us out. I mean, as a group and even on a one-on-one setting, I think it's really just like awkward because I don't want to talk about this, and I know my friends don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. We're still mourning one of our best friends' death, and it's hard to speak about it when like sometimes we just need some alone time, or sometimes we just need to lay back and not be around all this. And I mean, I've been called out in public, and I haven't been in public that much. I know my friends have had encounters in public. The threats have been insane from my stepmom, my dad, my mom, just everyone included, like even my brothers and my sisters. And it's just hard. I mean, it's unbelievable where like this has been taken to and the level where this is at.
When you say you've been called out in public, can you give me an example of like, what do you mean? People are threatening you with weapons? People are, not allowing you, deny you service? Because I heard that Trayston, he went to a corner store and they told him his money is not good there. They wouldn't even let him buy Gatorade.
Yeah.
Are you experiencing things like that or something totally different?
Right. I wouldn't say like that. I think I haven't been denied, anything, but like Trayston, it's hard to hear from a good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before work and having to, like, he calls me, he's like, dude, you won't believe what just happened. He got called out at Walmart. Someone called him out at Walmart and was like asking him all these questions and trying to press him about it. And it's crazy to me. Like, we live in a very tight knit community, and for people to, push back and say these things when they know what Ocean Springs is like, it's really hard. And I mean, I haven't had many personal encounters, but I know being around the guys and stuff like that, they have. So,
And Ed, as an attorney that's representing these boys, I mean, what does that make you feel like? Do you feel like you got a good case here, or what's your perspective in that? Because people are online, and obviously they know who you are. Obviously they know you represented Donald Trump in some pretty high-profile cases, and so now that you've joined, or at least now you work for the young men here, you hear them say things like they've been accosted, they've been threatened online. Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys, you lied about Tyler's guys here, if you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're going to get you. And you're going to be hauled into court. You're going to be held accountable. And it's going to be very painful. And what I would say to the people who have done that is, now's your chance. If you want to apologize and retract before you find yourself in court, you should probably do that now. Because if you don't do that, once you're in court, now you just can't leave. You won't be able to get out of it. And we're not going to name names because there's some other folks who are doing that, and we want to be better than that. And I want to emphasize this, right? We're not here to guess. We're not here to speculate. We're only going to deal in facts, right? And here's the most important thing, right? We don't know how Nolan Wells died. No one here is saying we know. But what we do know is Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death. And that's what's important. And unfortunately, because there are people who want to divide a town and come in from the outside and tell people what to think and pit neighbor against neighbor, it compounds the tragedy. It magnifies the tragedy. And I just want to say this. Here's why it's an even bigger tragedy. Because my friends here, Morgan, Jax, and Warren, these guys are not just the finest that Ocean Springs has to offer, finest that Mississippi has to offer. These are the finest young men.
So I'm gonna stop it there first, because I want to hear when rain starts leaning in. I'm always looking to hear your opinion. I'm always looking to hear your opinion on this. What do you think so far? And then I'll give you my thoughts.
I think this is a chance or they were looking for a chance to put some positivity behind their name in a way. Try to get the negative light off of them in a way. Unfortunately, it might not work in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I still, in my opinion, still believe that whoever Nolan came with, he should have left with them. I feel like they should not have left that island without him. I know I've consumed so much Nolan evidence, or not evidence, but Nolan's content. That there's so many different versions of what happened and whose boat was whose and whose boat, who was on what boat. At the end of the day, even though Nolan was a young adult and able to make his own decisions, there has to be some kind of friendship responsibility in that. If I was at a bar with one of my friends and she's just like, hey, I'm not going, she's inebriated, can't think for herself, or says that, hey, I'm not going home. No, we going home. As a friend, my responsibility is to get you home if we are true friends, regardless of the situation. So it's to answer your question in short, I believe that this was done in order to try to shine some positive light behind the negativity that they have been receiving across the media and whatnot, and in town. Now, do I think that they deserve the treatment that they're receiving in town, with being refused service, with being looked at funny, or questioned by the public? No, no decent human being would do that to these young men. But at the same time, they got to understand that it's frustrating to the public as well, and probably to the Wells, the Wansleys, because it seems like there's so much unfinished stories, unfinished business. There's no concrete answer. And with that amount of people being on that island at that one time, I'm going to say it like I've been saying for the last however many weeks, somebody saw something.
So I'm a preference with this first, and then I really want to see if everybody can hear this through. I agree with what everybody is saying in the chat because I'm very big on words. When I'm watching somebody say, my friends, my boys, my I understand that talk. I heard that a lot in my 20-year military career. You know what I mean? And it wasn't towards me. It was towards my white office partners or whoever I was working with. So I understand that verbiage. I understand what they're doing. We all know that this is a defamation attorney. He also was an attorney for President Trump. So if even if you heard the verbiage, right? He did the injustice for one is what is it? That little saying they did throughout the
Yeah.
whole, yeah, like with that being said, I want you guys to think about it in this manner too, though. Just imagine if we reverse roles and we did that for each other. Do y'all see how white people will gather together regardless how you may feel about the individuals they're representing? They gather together. Let me say that again. They gather together. That's why they're so strong. That's why this attorney can speak with so much authority and trying to place fear. I think somebody said he's doing like reverse crump thing, reverse crump bites type thing. With that being said, but they're never introducing division amongst each other. Because we don't know how they might feel behind the door. We don't know what conversations are going on behind the scenes. But at the same time, I guarantee he told them everything they needed to say and they said it. We have to learn how to, even if we disagree, let's learn to look like a unit together. You see what I mean? Like when you think about even Brandon Tatum, he's handpicked, even if he's handpicked. So what would you call a DL Hughley, right? He's handpicked to divide. So now you put both black men against each other instead of saying, "Hey, man, let's come on our podcast. Let's talk positive. Let's positively disagree, but let's have the conversation." And the last question that everybody should ask each other is this: do we want justice for Nolan Wells? You do? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. We're going in the same direction.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you feel about me or how you feel about the situation. At the end of the day, if we both say we want justice for Nolan Wells and the truth, we have the same vision. So when we go into this room, we need to be a bunch of niggas together. We can divide outside, but when we walk in the room, we should be together. So regardless how you may take this information that they're giving out tonight, white people show you why they continue to be above, because they stick together even when the things are effed up. Even if they know there's a liar amongst them, even if they know it's the wrong person that they're defending, they look together as a unit. You can't beat that. Those four sitting together is stronger than the 20,000 black people dividing because we don't feel the same about something. So I really want y'all to always take away, we can disagree with what we're seeing, but we also need to see what they're showing. Regardless, what you're going to see this whole pattern throughout the night of just the division on one side and then the unity on the other side. So I will get to some of these chats and then we'll play the rest of the video. I'll let you get to that, ma'am.
Uncle Plug said the lawyer said that if anyone accusing these men of anything, they will be sued. Well, I say come get these $13. Penny said straight coached scripted. Straight coached answer scripted. Sko said, man, F them boys and their lawyer. Uncle Plug said, me, I didn't do nothing. They, we didn't say you did. Me, I'm getting an attorney. They, now you look like you did something. Me, huh? Uncle Plug said, were you accosted? Yeah, but no, but yeah, but not really. But I was in fear of my life. Well, kind of. Tristan said, well, we know what Ocean Springs is like, sir. Penny said, don't start none, won't be none, homie. This is extreme. A human died with no answers. That's extreme. Shaking my head.
Definitely agree.
Trisha said, this attorney is a whole red flag, unprofessional, and making empty threats.
Yep.
Uncle Plus said, you gonna get who? I got a VPN and everything is AI. Penny said, I don't know how you find an impartial jury after this.
That's facts, Penny.
Yeah. I think it got to be in a whole nother state or something
Yeah.
with people who don't even know what's going on. You need somebody who don't have internet access or anything. Tristan said, if you know that he died but don't know what happened, how it happened, why are you so confident and they didn't do it? Uncle Plus said, if that's the finest, y'all efforts in trouble. I can hear him talk. Penny said, reverse crump sound bites. Tristan said, please understand that they picked Brandon for a reason. He's genuinely trying to help them, and that's the scary part. Penny said, that's facts. Brandon is looking bought and sold. Uncle Plus TV said, these Nabisco kids are desperate. Tristan said, you don't go into self-preservation that quick after your friend passed away. Stop. Penny said, Rain, is it really that much of an injustice that they refuse service if they refuse information? Uncle Plug got the
hear no evil, speak no evil. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Uncle Plug knows his stuff. Tristan said, I agree, souls 100. We only come together temporarily. Penny said, souls agree, but it won't ever happen. Uncle Plug said, or turmoil. Penny said, we get Brandon out here poking holes in the boat. Unless my eyes deceive me, he black too. UNITY.
S-U-N-I-T.
Penny said, but a black man is giving them a platform to band together on.
And you got to look at it in reverse, Penny, too. They're giving him a platform because he's saying he's looking for truth. Like that's why I always say, I enjoy doing these town halls because I'm taking my emotions out of it and I'm just trying to look at it from what people are giving. We can look at it like he's giving them a platform, but we also, if you watch all of Officer Tatum stuff, he sent emails out to Crump and them told them they didn't want to speak. Like he's giving everybody the same equal opportunity, but again, we choose to not come together because we don't think alike. And then we look divided. But then this man is saying, hey, I'm just looking for answers. And these white boys are willing to give me answers. You guys are not. So we can't really fault someone who's trying to seek truth.
Sko said, Penny, he's borrowing the skin. Penny put a thumbs up for Sko. Penny said, Rain, they got to be on Mars at this point to be impartial. I know that, and that's the thing though. You can't. Maddie said, truth is not scripted, and those boys are running off a script, and that lawyer is the most unprofessional lawyer seen, but he represents Trump, so I can't expect too much from him.
I agree, man. I think everything everybody is saying is valid, but I want you to take away from like even this Paul Stream, I didn't do it on purpose, but look at the stream.
Look at the face of I was getting ready to say that the one in the middle, look at his face.
Yeah, like when you think about it, like look at the stream, like regardless how it looks, they're banding together. Like regardless how we want to look at it, they're banding together. And I'm telling you, just imagine looking across the other side if it was D.L. Hughley, Don Lennon, Brandon Tatum. Think about that. Think like change the room. We always say, let's put a black person in the place of this. And so change the room up. Just imagine 4 black men sitting in front of these 4 white men demanding truth and answers. Not meaning that they all agree with how they're doing it, but they're all demanding the right thing. You know what I mean? Like they all are asking for truth. Can you imagine Nolan Wells' dad sitting across from them right now with Brandon Tatum, with D.L. Hughley? Like we have to be able to still come together even in the midst of everything. You know what I mean? Like regardless.
Skull said he represents Trump, and Trump is a 38-time convicted felon. Skull said, I wouldn't trust him to be my lawyer.
Yeah. But Skull, you know what I mean? He's there to do defamation, and he won that defamation case for Trump. So again, they're picking the person who has a winning resume, just like the black people pick Crump. You see, everybody's doing the same thing. We just don't want to see it, and we don't want to see both sides because it makes people feel a certain way. But I try to look at it from the full picture of what we're seeing right now. Did you have anything else, Rain, before I played?
Well, his name is Jax in the middle.
Yeah, when he started talking, he didn't know what to say. I don't want to accuse nobody. But,
it just seemed like he doesn't want to be there at all. Like he was maybe forced to be there, or like, look, we need to do this together, though. You know, we got type deal. So yeah, you can go ahead and play it though. But just looking at his face is just
that America has to offer. You know, really great people. And Tyler actually taught me good Ocean Springs people. That was one of the first things I heard when I got here. So I'll just say that they're good Ocean Springs people.
Think about that, y'all. He's not even from Mississippi.
So he don't even know what's going on.
He don't even know what's going on. He's just going to represent his people.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview.
Can't give you that.
So this is not 90%. It's not 99%. It's not 99.9999. There's no decimals. There's no anything. It's 100%. 100.000%. Nothing. They did nothing wrong. And that's the problem for our opponents here, who have ruined their lives, dragged them through the mud, and attacked them. You don't get to lie. We have a First Amendment. We love our First Amendment, but you don't get to lie and hurt people. You want to lie and it doesn't hurt people? Fine. You lie and you hurt people. That's why we have defamation. And that's what this is about. So I just want to emphasize this in the strongest possible terms. Zero wrongdoing. Completely innocent. Totally innocent. And categorically innocent.
And you guys have had experiences with either people threatening you online. I know that, Warren, we talked about this before. And we talked a little, or at least spoke a little bit about when you go out, you guys are getting accosted by people. Can you give us an example of, or at least tell the audience an example of an incident where you guys may have been accosted? Or what does that look like when you go out? People threaten you with weapons? Or people trying to physically harm you? Or people having to be restrained? What kind of engagement is happening when you guys go out?
We went to a restaurant, a couple of buddies of mine, and when we were, I wouldn't say threatening with weapons or anything, but I felt, and I know my friends felt, threat for our lives. I mean, I don't think there was like a fear factor, but at the same time, like it's awkward in public. Like I stated, like when we have to talk about these things, but we went to a restaurant and someone came up to me and was like, "Is this you?" And I was kind of like shaken up about it. Well, at first she asked like my name and like all these questions. And I was like, okay, whatever, she's coming up to talk. Well, then she came up to me again and showed me our first interview and was like, "Are you sure this isn't you?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's me, like obviously." And she kind of just, I looked at my buddy and I was like, "Yeah, we're leaving, like close everything out, like we're going." And I left, and there was an altercation after I left with some other buddies that weren't involved in this at all. And they told my friends that they were going to kill them and they wanted to fight and all this like crazy stuff. I mean, I wasn't there, but my friends told me this, that what the people were saying to them was like totally just crazy. Like, I mean, there was people like that were, outside of this telling us like, "Hey, you need to leave before something happens, because I know what could go down right now. And like, I know that these people are crazy." So, I mean, we all felt, we were kind of shaken up about that. It was weird because it was our first encounter as a group. And I think,
no, I don't have TikTok, anything like that. She was like, "Oh, okay." And then walked off, and then came back with, like you said, the first interview on her phone, and showing him. She was like, "So this isn't you. Either you have a doppelganger or this is you." And he was like, "Well, yeah, that's me." And then we got the check and we bounced, and we were waiting outside for everybody else to get out of there. And while we're waiting outside is whenever some of our other buddies that aren't even on social media that we were just there with was getting told that other people are going to kill them and all that kind of stuff.
So how did that make you guys feel? Did you think they were serious? Did you think it was just people trying to make a name for themselves by confronting you in front of others? Like, what was your take on that, Morgan?
I think it was just like, I was in the general area of where one of our buddies was, where this altercation happened. And I actually got into a conversation with a fellow next to me that wasn't even involved. And he told me straight up, he was like, "If I was y'all right now, I would leave before y'all get hurt. Y'all need to leave right now. I'm just watching out for y'all and making sure y'all are safe." And I mean, I wouldn't say that those people would have physically done something in that moment, but I think they were playing like almost like a mental game, like just to get into your head and just almost like make yourself like just think these things that obviously are not true.
If you can go back to the very beginning of this, how do you think this should have played out? Because I always question in my mind that when I go back, I look at what happened, I look at the initial stories with Nolan, and you guys knew him, right? I didn't know him. I know none of you guys. I just had a chance to meet you guys more recently. But how do you think this should have gone? If you could control the environment, Nolan is found deceased. How do you guys think that this should have been put out to the world?
So first off, I wish that none of this would ever happen. I wish Nolan could still be here with us today. And I wish that, like I said, none of this would ever happen. Like I wish that all this could be erased and Nolan could be here tomorrow. I mean, that's more than anything. But other than that, I feel like his mom blasting us on social media from the get-go, saying that he was out there with Warren and another guy. That's where it first started to take off. And then also the fact that she posted a picture of me and Morgan and another guy and Nolan on the boat together, blasting that out there, pushing this narrative, kind of, I guess. I wish that would have never happened either. And I don't think if those would have never happened, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion. And the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, dude, that was my brother. Like, and you know that. He knows that. We were picking him up every single day. He never drove. I can't tell you how many times I pulled up in his driveway and picked him up. And it wasn't him asking. It was just because that's what we did. We just picked up Nolan all the time. That's how we, came about all the stuff that we were going to. We'd go and pick him up. That's how much we like to be around him. We would do stuff like that all the time,
Well,
So I'm gonna stop it there. What is your thoughts on this, Rain?
Why did y'all leave him on the island? Why was he left? So they're saying allegedly that Nolan was intoxicated. If y'all were that much of best friends, why leave him there? It just irks my soul because you're saying best friend this, best friend that, but you left him there. Knowing, and allegedly, from what we've been hearing from all these different places across the social media space, he was possibly intoxicated. If that was the case, and he is so-called your best friend, why did you leave him there? The other guy said something too, but I lost my track of thought that I wanted to say something on, but it's okay. But I think that if the law wouldn't have brushed it up under the rug or been nonchalant with the facts that they received and what was going on at the time, been more open with Christine, been more forthcoming with information, reached out to her, and not came up to a conclusion from the beginning without doing, we don't even know if we allegedly think that there wasn't a proper investigation done initially, because if that was the case, then they say 60 people have been interviewed. So 60 people, not one of those people saw Nolan. Not one of those people knew where Nolan was. 60 people? Somebody, come on, y'all.
If I was a betting man, I don't gamble, but if I was a betting man, I would put the 3 people that had nothing to do with it in front of all the cameras. I'm gonna say that one more time. If I was a betting man and I was doing something strategic, I will put, because y'all got to think about it. These are, outside of Warren, these are 2 new faces.
Yeah.
These are 2 new faces. This ain't the same 3 people he interviewed, except Warren. The other two white boys are new to us. We kind of just figuring them out in the midst of it all right now. They all went to the same restaurant. They all had the same story with the TikToker and all that. So, like, if I was a betting man, I would say, as a person, I'm going to put the people that I know that I could cover up for in front of everyone.
I can see your point.
If that was me, if I was thinking in like the eyes of like, cause we kind of talked about when we first started talking about this, How to Get Away with Murder, right? The show.
Mhm.
It teaches you a lot about like diversions, right? Like how do you get people to like take their attention off of everything? And in this moment, we went from sitting down with Warren and Tristan and then talking some about Bart to now coming back to a new interview where we only still have Warren, who always had legal counsel, even with his mother,
Mm-hmm.
and two new faces. So, like, this is where I try to use my common sense and my knowledge is like, I'm going to put three people in front of you that I can speak all cocky about because I know they're possibly innocent. And then I'm going to let you guys figure out everything else behind the scenes because we're going to distract you with everything in front of the screen. Because again, as you guys seen on our first two videos tonight on Town Hall, Class E said it very well. People are watching, right? People are paying attention. I mean, there's documents being created the same day that new news is dropping. Like, people are what the world is getting. And this kind of goes back to what Tristan said, right? Tristan was saying that when you think about government, if you really think about the whole thing, I know Plug sometimes calls it like the puppet master, right? If you want to go down that hole, you got to think about, I'm just going to put the people in front of you guys that I know has a good 90-80% chance that they didn't have any involvement, while everybody else that could possibly be accused of this is fixing their stuff behind the scenes. That's just me. If I was a betting man, that's how I would think.
I think all of this could have been avoided if the law enforcement was more forthcoming with, or been not necessarily forthcoming, but a little compassion. They lack compassion for somebody who's lost someone. And I think that comes along with law enforcement a little bit. Yes, you have to have law and order, but with something tragedy, you do need to have some type of compassion as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But even with that, I mean, we're past that.
Oh yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, after the autopsy started, like, we're like, now it's like everybody's getting totally different stories. Everybody's picking and choosing whose story they want to take, but it's like, okay, what are we going to do with what's put right in front of us? And my biggest question was, okay, he's doing a new interview, but it's totally new people.
Why is it needed?
You see what I mean?
Why is it needed? And then too,
I think at this point, again, even though sometimes I do agree with Officer Tatum, I feel like now Officer Tatum is taking it more personal. And I'm not talking about the situation, I'm talking about for his own self. So now I think he's just trying to get into the rooms to now give another side of something, just to be like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm in front of it. I think it's becoming a personal battle for his own ego and not really now about the justice of Nolan. That's what it gives off to me. And it's coming from somebody who I like most of Officer Tatum stuff when it comes to like law enforcement videos, stuff like that. But this right here, ever since him and DL had their back and forth, I feel like he's trying to raise the bar, but he's raising the bar and not really providing anything relevant to the people. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's becoming now part of the division.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like that's my thing. Like you're down there in Mississippi, you down in Mississippi. Why talk to them? Talk to somebody else.
Right.
You just had Cutting with E on your show. Go talk to him. Have him on the couch. Like go talk to someone outside of all the other people who are being accused. I will say that. Like I did. That's why I said when I watched it, I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the good old boy speech of the attorney, the lawyer, whatever he is. Like I can be transparent and say what I don't like, and then Officer Tatum to me now is becoming a stretch. So,
because if him being a law enforcement, I mean, I understand he has a platform. I understand he needs to make content, but him being a law enforcement, a previous officer of the law, he knows that investigations need to happen. And who knows if you're not hindering the investigation with putting these guys on your platform? What if they drop something that, of course we're saying that it's scripted, but what if they drop something by mistake that they should be dropping? I mean, it's and I will say this. It still seems so suspicious that from the beginning, after this happened, they deactivated their social media accounts to include the mom, to include the stepmom. So if you're not guilty in that sense, why even go through all of that? If you're not guilty in that sense, then why do you need to prove yourself on these platforms? Why do you I don't know. I don't know. Tristan said, how did the mom blast y'all when all she did was tell the truth? Did she lie? Penny said, shoulda, woulda, coulda. He said, if it was your brother, you would have brought him home dead or alive. I feel the same. Marty said, if they picked him up all the time, then why did no one know where his house was?
I didn't know that, Marty. That's new to me. Because I thought everybody parked there for like a homecoming or prom or something.
Yeah.
So that's new. That's new news to me. So. Yeah.
Tristan said he couldn't drive, didn't have his phone. He was drunk, but y'all still left him. Exactly. I'm gonna leave my best friend on this island knowing he intoxicated. That just don't sound right. Walt Diesel said they left the island in a hurry, but never said why they wanted to leave the island early.
And you see how everybody here is thinking. You would think like those would be the questions that people would ask.
Yeah. Penny said, if he's your brother, the only reason to leave Nolan and not call 911 and stay is to get a pound of flesh for your blood. Tristan said, I see an element of white Christian nationalism going on too, but never mind. Penny said, so true. They probably don't have nothing to do with it and have them there to dilute and pose reasonable doubt.
Yeah, that's just my opinion, Penny. Like just being a bed man, like that's what it looks like.
Penny said, random, but what government smokescreen is this for the American people since this is flooding the airway? Because it's taking our attention away from something that they're passing under our noses, like flock.
So, Penny, when I think about that question, again, we talk about this a lot on No Middleman. I feel like these are those micro experiments, right? I think if we believe in these government experiments or smoke and screen, I think it's always an opportunity to say, hey, they still divided. We good. They're still not coming together. We good. Like, don't even worry about it. Get that white girl that just killed that black boy. Give her 6 years instead of 35. They won't even pay attention. Oh, you know that mom over there in Memphis that had to shoot the man that was under her 13-year-old daughter bed? They're not even paying attention to it. Oh, you know those people that was hung in Mississippi? They so divided, man. They're so focused on Nolan Wells. Just keep doing what we doing here. I think these are just micro doses of experiments that I always talk about. And that's why I said I feel like we have to come together even if we disagree, as long as the vision is the same.
Uncle Plus said, but a spin. Let's say he's trying to get the boys on the platform, knowing they would change their story.
I can see that, Plug. I can see that. He said, "Nah, I digress." You gave up on it, Plug. Nah.
Penny said random, but where is the real mom of the boy of Warren? Because isn't
Oh yeah, because that's his
yeah
stepmom. That's a good question, Penny.
yeah.
That's a good question. Do some digging for us, Penny. That's a good question.
Mighty said they still could have returned the phone because they didn't know where his house was. No, Warren done pulled up to the house before. Warren know where they lived.
Yeah, I ain't. Yeah, we could have missed it, Marty. We could have
Yeah,
missed it.
yeah.
We appreciate you. We could have missed it for sure.
Plug said, "Good question, Penny." Tristan said, "The questions we are asking are so basic, though. But again, common sense is not that common."
That is true, Tristan. That is true.
Tristan said, "Black folks have been sheep to the wrong shepherd, and that's the main problem."
But Tristan, we covered yesterday, man. Even the ones in the pool pit too.
Purple Groovy, welcome in. The guilty dog barks first. All right.
Welcome in, ma'am. I think you came in last time. We appreciate you coming back. I know we've seen you before. Thank you. Make sure you hit that like button.
Might have said it was the first interview with Tatum.